Parties Podcast, WATP.
Tommy from MSCS Media, he's still up on YouTube. He never went away. And he just recently had on Sean O'Malley, that is Suga O'Malley from the UFC. Now, we covered him a year or two ago. He had his own pod. He still does have his own podcast. It's different now.
Is it good?
No, it's not.
Okay.
He thinks he's Joe Rogan. But
and Tommy thinks he's Joe Rogan.
Correct. Yeah, a lot of Rogan going on here.
Oh.
So this guy, Sean O'Malley, he's a very good fighter in the UFC. He's one of the top fighters in the UFC. He's only lost one time. And so pretty big get. I mean, this guy's a pretty big celebrity for Tommy to get. And it's weird, too, because you know these guys, whoever their publicist is or whatever, they're just looking at the numbers, those fake numbers on YouTube and going, oh, yeah, this is a big show. You should definitely get on it. It's so crazy. I don't know how Tommy's pulling this off, but he's doing it. And
I imagine some type of alien trickery.
I agree. And one of the things that I love about Tommy is when he's trying to like name drop and act like he's like knows all about what's going on. He's totally like he's talking about a buddy of his in the UFC who he was talking to about O'Malley, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, of course.
Well, we've had Bass run in a bunch of times, and I got pretty close with him. He thinks you're going to beat his striking record.
Boss, yeah.
Boss. I always say Bass. Boss.
Which one?
Which I don't even.
Yeah.
Which striking record's that?
I forget which one he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no one can beat it but you.
Now, I actually looked this up because I'm like, what is he talking about? And whoever UFC fighter he's talking about doesn't have any striking record that I could find. I looked at all the different striking records.
Boss?
For the UFC.
Bass?
Yeah, Bass, Boss, Bosch. He has no idea what he's talking about and just embarrasses himself there. Pretty early on in the interview, too. So then...
not a hair out of place on this guy's
he's amazing,
head.
isn't it?
Is that a helmet? It is. Yeah, you know, that old expression, helmet head. He legitimately fucking has it.
It's impressive. And it looks like his hairdo, he combs after he puts his headphones on. Like he combs it around his headphones like this. He just walks around all day with those headphones on.
I think one piece, it just comes off.
Yeah, he clips it on like a Lego guy.
He's got a peg.
You might be right. You might be right about that. So then I think the guy's name's Rob. The guy who's like his Jamie. He's got a question for our UFC fighter here.
Hey, Sean, one of my favorite fights with you was, and I'm going to butcher the last name, but Chris Motino, if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. I mean, you beat the living shit out of that guy. And he would not give up. Like, there were points you're like, man, somebody needs to throw the white towel in already. Take me through that. I mean, that was, you were on.
You remember in Something Wild when Melanie Griffith had you handcuffed to the bed? Remember that? Yeah. And you had to make that phone call, remember? And you were chained to the thing and you couldn't get away?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was literally his question. Do you remember that fight where you kicked that guy's ass? Like, that was pretty fucking cool, right?
Take me through it.
Take me through it.
Was I the only one distracted by the schematics of Tommy's UFO on the wall next to that guy?
I think it's pretty accurate.
I think that is his actual spaceship that got him here.
Okay.
It's more of a blueprint than it is a drawing.
Tommy signed it.
It really is incredible. Well, since we're doing a quick visual thing, and I promise we'll get back to the fun for the people listening, because that's what the show is. It's an audio podcast. For some reason, all of a sudden, and you see that, like, Sean O'Malley is obviously on his phone, and it's like portrait mode. It's not widescreen. But, of course, in their studio, they have nothing but HD cameras. Everything's widescreen. And then all of a sudden, the thing changes.
Like normal citizens everywhere we go. Some of us can. Some of us, can't.
And any guys out there that
all of a sudden it's zoomed in on him, and it's portrait mode.
Maybe have old beef with, still beef with, any assholes that you can talk about. I don't know if you want to throw anybody out there, but any guy that just gets under your skin the wrong way.
So I was taken aback by that because it's such a production, this show.
Yeah.
Everything's so slick, but it's not. It's like trying to be, but it's not, because then it goes over to Tommy, and now Tommy's got the same thing going on.
Do you have a dream opponent that you like to go against?
Oh, no.
What is going on here? Okay, so that, by the way, that only happens about 45 minutes in, and then it goes back to normal again. So I'm really not sure why they did that.
You know, when you have a guest on your show and they have their phone set like that, you could say to them, hey, would you mind flipping your phone to the other way before we start?
You could. But you don't tell anything to Sean O'Malley. You let Sean O'Malley do whatever he wants to do. That's my experience.
Well, he's not there to punch them.
That's true. That's a good point. He is remote. Oh, this is a fun question because now, if you recall, Tommy used to be a boxer. So Tommy knows all about training and getting ready for fights. And he's got a question here.
And I always ask this: how do you train to take hits like that? You know, like in boxing, if you verse them, the guys are going down. But you guys can take hits like I have never seen, especially the leg kicks.
Yeah.
I see that, and you don't go down. You know, other contenders don't go down, and I don't know how it's possible that you don't go down. How do you train for that? That you could take massive blows like that, or you dodge them, but it just looks like you're getting crushed by them?
How do you train to get hit in the head?
Yeah.
You don't. Could you imagine? That's a shitty gym day. You're like, all right, what are we working on today? Oh, today we're going to punch you in the head a few times. Fuck, I hate punch in the head day.
Well, what you have to look out for are leg kicks as opposed to the arm kicks. You fucking idiot.
So he just says a lot of things that are, obviously English is not his first language, but I just wanted to play you Suga's response to this question.
Or just me?
Yeah, I don't know if he really trained for getting hit in the head. I think just the better shape you're in, the better cardio you have, and honestly, probably the less times you've been hit in the head, the more shots you can absorb.
Yeah. We don't actually train for that, Tommy. The fuck do you think? What do you think they do? It's not like asking Barry Bonds how he hits a curveball.
Yeah.
You know, that's something you could train for, and you could actually, the way I do it is, this guy's just like, how are you able to like get punched in the head? Like, well, I don't want to.
I don't remember that scene in the montage of Rocky where Mickey was just hitting him over the head with a 2x4.
Yeah, right.
We got to train you to take a punch.
Well, we get work up to the point where they drop an anvil on my head, and if I can withstand that, I can withstand any punch.
Good job, Rock. Now I'm going to go to the second window. Second story window and drop it.
Here's a grand piano. So stupid. All right.
Tommy is dumb.
We talks about how he grew up in Montana, and Tommy is shocked by this. He's just like, whoa, what's it like growing up in Montana? That's crazy. As if it's like some third world country, and somehow he was able to survive and make it to the United States. And he's just like, well, no, I mean, I played sports. I went to school, took kickboxing. You know, it's Montana. It's one of the states.
It's part of the continental United States.
Part of the continental United States, Tommy. I know that you don't own a globe, but it's really not that big a deal. So then later on in the interview, he asks this.
And then just going back a little bit, when you got on a spot with Dana White on the Contender 2 series, how did that feel for you? You know, coming from Montana, you know, just, I mean, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal for everyone, no matter where they come from. It's a big deal to get on television.
How about for you, Montana trash? How did you feel about it?
I know.
Like, why are you being condescending about Montana?
So bizarre. So bizarre to me. So he must have read something that, I don't know. I don't know how Tommy's brain works. I don't know why I was trying to figure that out just now. It's a fool's errand. Yeah. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
All right. So then,
it's a fool's errand. Just realized.
Tommy finds the worst ways to ask questions possible. I don't know how he does it.
And before, I'm going back to like the late 90s, early 2000s. I used to watch a lot of boxing. And whenever it came to the judges, you know the people that were involved back then, you would be like, no matter what it looked like, you know, we're all down there with the jungle.
Got some money.
Yeah, we're all down there with the jungle juice, you know, taking little bets. Yeah. And we're like, fuck it, please don't let it come to the judges. And then it goes to the judges, and you're like, is when a fight in the UFC comes down to a card, to a score, is it similar to that? Is it like worrisome as it was in boxing, or do you think not so much? Or what are your thoughts on that?
What?
He's trying to say that when it goes to decision, so no one's knocked out, when it goes to the decision, do the judges get it right very often? Would be the way that you'd ask that. Instead, he turns into this weird, convoluted, I don't know if he's talking about corruption, or I don't know what he's talking about. There's jungle juice involved?
Yeah.
Why is he there with jungle juice?
And then it's like, are you as nervous as if you were a pro boxer about the
how
card?
would you know the answer to that? When you were boxing in the 90s, I know I was actually born in the 90s.
Yeah, we didn't have time travel like you.
It's weird how he tries to make something relatable to this guy that has nothing to do with it, and then also make it sound like he knows nothing about the subject he's talking about at the same time.
Right.
He's incredible. Real.
It is a neat trick.
He's incredible. And then right after saying that the judges are terrible and they always get it wrong, he says this.
See, I like the human element of it. Like, even if you have a robot umpire or whatever, I don't know, just like growing up, it's human, you know what I mean? So for me, I like, I don't want a robot in sports. Like, I want it to be human, and if they fuck up, they fuck up, you know what I mean? That's just me personally.
Yeah.
What did Tommy say next?
You just said just the opposite of that.
What do you think Little League was like at his play? Did he have a robot umpire?
Well,
did he have that?
What he's talking about.
I like a human.
What he's talking about, Vinny, is next year MLB is going to incorporate the electronic strike zone.
Yeah.
And they're calling it like a robot is calling balls and strikes.
Okay.
Is what he's saying there. But yeah, I know the way he says that.
I'd like to see that robot strike.
So stupid. Could you imagine? They're just not being treated fairly.
Yeah, well.
It's not the money. It's not the money that's the problem.
Wouldn't that be great if that's what starts the AI revolution?
Yeah.
We want dignity.
I can just imagine the managers coming over and kicking dirt on the
fucking lens. The thing looks like Wall-E, and it's just getting dirt kicked on it.
The robot's going, I literally can't get this wrong. I don't know what you're arguing about.
Yeah.
All right, that's kind of funny now. Now I'm just playing over and over in my head Tommy Lasorda fighting a robot.
Your robot mother's a cunt.
That was funny again.
Tommy was great.
That's hilarious. All right, you guys want to see an ad read? One of my favorite things that Tommy does is he cuts into ads like just out of nowhere in the middle of a sentence.
Well, that's being a pro.
Yeah, that's how you do it. And this one is a bit clunky, I would say, from an ad copy standpoint.
Francis got taken down and submitted in less than 2 minutes against John Jones. So that's just what I was talking about. You have to be able to wrestle and grapple at a super high level, or else the guys at the top are just gonna do what they want with.
This episode is sponsored by ZBiotics. What is ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic? The ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic is a genetically engineered probiotic you drink before drinking alcohol to avoid that rough next morning and get back to living your life.
It's like they were fucking with him when they wrote the ad copy. Like, oh, there's no way he's able to say this.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. By the way, so he has like a web page he tells people to go to, and I'm like, because Croge was here and we were talking about like his Monster Energy ad read or one of the other like big national ones, and Croge went to the website. It didn't exist. Like, he's just like making this shit up. So I'm like, I wonder if this ZBiotics is a real thing.
How much you want to bet he makes ZBiotics in a bathtub?
Yeah, you're right. That's right. He did go to jail for selling like supplements and stuff like that.
Oh.
This could be his thing, because check this out. When I go to the website, oh, there's Tommy! Yeah!
Oh, I nailed it.
By the way, it's now that I think about it, because Tommy recently got a DUI, and he also was busted selling supplements. Like, this is the perfect product for him.
For when you drink earth fluid.
Dude, using the power of genetic engineering, ZBiotics makes miserable mornings after drinking a thing of the past.
This is really written like it is a Tommy company.
Yeah.
It's not how humans communicate in any single way.
Use code MSCS Media at checkout for 50% off your first order, courtesy of MSCS Media.
It's a repetitive motherfucker, isn't he?
And there's a picture.
Tommy 2 times.
There's a picture of. I got to get the probiotics.
Yeah.
When you're hungover, do you have trouble clipping on your hair?
Sometimes you just can't get it on the peg.
I picture him before the show like Darth Vader, where the hair's like coming down in his chamber. All right, no more Star Wars references, okay. I promise. So this is where I talk about where I say I don't think
makes this shit, Carl. How are we glossing over that this guy's making this shit? Fucking the power of genetic engineering.
It's like a South Park episode.
What the fuck is going on here?
All right, so I don't think English is his first language. I'm willing to bet.
The guy who thinks his name is Jackie the Jokester is harnessing the powers of genetic engineering.
Yeah. Well, wait till you hear this one.
Finally.
Did you watch the boxing fight with Logan, right? I always get them mixed up. No. Jake, Paul. I always get Jake and Logan mixed up. Did you see the Paul and Fury fight?
Did you watch?
I did watch that. Yeah.
Did you watch that boxing fight? Why is he? I don't even know why he's interviewing this guy. This guy's a UFC fighter. He's like, hey, did you see that celebrity boxing match?
You know, I used to really like boxing.
Yeah. I'm a boxing fighter. I don't know if you do that.
Those leg kicks.
You guys do the leg kicks.
Now, as we know, Tommy has a lot of different companies. He's got the engineering firm. He's got the marketing firm. He's got all these
genetic engineering firm.
genetic engineering firm. He's got there's also an engineering firm too that he has. There's all sorts of things. It's hilarious. So he really picks up on the fact that Sean here has his own clothing line, and try to guess how smart Tommy thinks that is for this guy to have his own clothing line. I'll give you the answer.
Oh.
And like I saw you have your clothing line. I think that was brilliantly smart because you see a lot of, you can't fight forever, and with your popularity and, you're different than everybody else. I mean, that couldn't have been a better move. What got you to start that? And then how much of a pain in the ass is it to develop it and pick what you want on there and so on and so forth?
Why does he assume it's a pain in the ass?
Yeah, I know.
He might have very little to do with it.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, Tommy. Genetically engineering probiotics
Here we go.
is a lot harder than fucking printing a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Or having someone else do it.
How much is a pain in the ass to put your logo on some clothing was made in Indonesia? It's actually not hard at all. How do you do it?
What
It was a phone call.
You sell hoodies? You are a genius, sir. You, sir, are a genius.
Brilliantly smart to do that. So Tommy has a specific favorite from the Suga clothing line collection.
I like the sweatsuit because like for when you're home and you're just hanging out, because it's hard. I don't think Adidas is. I see everybody wearing this Adidas shit and everything else. Your sweatsuit's comfortable as hell, and when you're around the house.
I appreciate that.
Oh, sure it is, and that's sugarshop.co, and you got everything. You got footwear, bottoms, coffee cups. You got everything on there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. When I see that, I not that it's anything for me, but I mean, I'm just proud of you that you're not just fighting and blah, blah, blah. Like, you're taking your name and like you're doing something with it. And your coach who gave you the sugar, I mean, you can't forget that.
He has trouble ending a sentence.
Yeah, he does.
Holy shit.
And I feel like he was trying to do like a weird read or like plug for that.
Yeah.
And it was not good.
Well, he goes, I like the sweatsuit. It's so comfortable, unlike those Adidas sweatsuits. Like, sweatsuits are always comfortable. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you guys, when I get home after a long day of broadcasting and genetic engineering and I take off my human suit, I like to put on a Sugar Shack jogging suit. I love the bottoms. The bottoms are very comfortable. What the fuck?
It's insane. It's
happening?
insane. All right. Now, as I've mentioned many times, Tommy finds the weirdest ways to ask questions. And spoiler, the question he's about to ask him is, what are your hobbies? Okay? Now watch the way he actually asks him this question.
What's some of the things outside, and we'll have all this in the description and it will pop up, where this is at. But what are some of the things you like outside of training and fighting? I mean, I know you don't have much time, but when you do have time and you just need a break, what are some things that you like?
So why did he say it was going to be in the description? Like, tell me your hobbies, and we'll definitely put them in the show description so people know what you're into. By the way, his answer to this was he likes to go outside and stretch.
Huh.
He likes stretching outside. He lives in Arizona.
Don't ruin it for me. I was going to read it in the description.
Yeah, I know.
I checked the description. It wasn't in there.
Oh, so Tommy's a liar too. All right.
Yeah. I don't know what he was talking about there. But he has this weird thing, and I've said this before too, but it's similar to Tommy Wiseau from The Room, where there's just certain English words he doesn't know.
Right.
And so he finds these weird ways to, you're my future wife instead of fiance. And Tommy does the same thing with, like, you can't just, like, be like, all right, what do you like to do outside of the ring?
He really was a boxer?
Who knows?
Well, I'm just saying, like,
was he really born in Pennsylvania? I don't know.
This whole thing could be scrambled brains.
That's true.
This whole thing could just be CTE.
That's why he asked, how
cauliflower brain.
How are you able to take a punch? Because it didn't work out well for me.
Yeah, I've always wondered, how do you take a punch? I've never been able to.
I always lean into it. Is that the wrong way to go? Yes.
I always lean into it.
I like to absorb the blow with my face.
Try to tire the other guy out.
I like to keep my arms down. I'm going to need those later.
It does Vinny, it does explain the anus face.
Oh God, yeah,
It's true.
So you just punched right in.
Well, there's definitely been work done there. There's definitely been work done. I don't know if it
What
was
a proud doctor. That
well, I don't know if
guy's
it was
gotta be.
a person or I don't know what did the work. All right, so this is just a funny thing that he says. This is a quickie.
Now, we talked a lot about it a little bit before, but
We talked a lot about it a little bit. It's like Yogi Berra or something all of a sudden.
Yogi Berra was retardedly profound.
Yes, correct.
That's the opposite.
Yeah, good point. All right, so Tommy's going to talk about the trolls because he's asking Sean if he has trolls and how he deals with that sort of. I know. You can't make this shit up. This is such a Stuttering John level question right here.
just ignore it. I never read the comments. I turn them off. I turn them the fuck off because you know because sometimes let's just say I went and read through them, and usually I could care less. But maybe I'm having a bad day, and then I read some comment, and then I'll change everything over some idiot that might be a robot or some fat ass guy who's eating a big bag of potato chips and nut huggers that with a hairy belly. And here I am going to change everything in the studio and everything, and here I am talking to you. But because some fat ass said something in a comment, and on a bad day it will get to me, so I just said the hell with it and turned them off.
All I wrote was nice sweatshirt.
Nice bottoms.
I thought he was talking about you. Just because some fucking robot or some fat guy with a hairy belly tells me my show sucks. And then I go into a spiral. He's like, I never read it. But when I do, I totally freak out. It ruins my life. Never admit that.
Wow.
It's not a good idea.
Well, here he is doing it. Can't put that toothpaste back in the tube.
No,
can you?
you definitely cannot. So another thing that Tommy likes to do, we've pointed this out a few times, is he likes to talk about surveying people. And he always has like these weird numbers of people that he would need to survey.
Oh, right.
And then guesses at how many of those, not what percentage, how many of those people would say a certain thing.
Like if you bring in 100 female teachers.
Yep. Yep. And this is no exception.
And I think if you put 100,000 people in here and we said, hey, Sean lives in Arizona because it's nice and quiet and relaxed with older people, that I bet you 1 out of the 100,000 would believe that. You know what I mean?
Why is he? What's it with aliens and always like abducting lots of people? 100,000 people in here? I don't think that would fit, Tommy. I don't know how big your house is. That seems insane.
No, we have an amazingly large cargo bay on the ship.
They might. They might. I bet if we probed 100,000 people and then after that ask them if they think that you live in Arizona for this reason.
Would you like to be probed further?
All right.
This guy is just unbelievable.
Here's the last.
What a find.
He is, I know. There's the last clip I have. And this is more, I just think it's funny, Sean's answer to this. Because Sean is married and has a 2.5-year-old daughter. And this is his answer to the question about having a relationship.
How hard is it to have a relationship as a fighter?
My relationship with Danny has been, I've known her for about 8 years. We've been together. It's better than not having someone.
Wow. What a ringing endorsement. How are things with you and your wife? I mean, I guess it's better than being single.
Been with her for 8 years?
Yeah. Jesus Christ. It's brutal. I actually feel bad for her after hearing that answer.
What's it like? Well, you have to find a woman who can take a punch.
Yeah,
Take a leg kick.
Who are these podcasts?